Thank you, Nitya for your performance. Cakes. It is an honor and privilege to welcome you all to the inaugural ceremony of IEEE Signal Processing Society student branch initiative on latest trends in machine learning for signal processing applications. Organized by IEEE-VNRVJIET, SB and SPS, Women in Engineering, in association with IEEE, IIIT Hyderabad and SPS, Women in Engineering Affinity Group, IEEE Hyderabad section. With the motto Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, from darkness lead me to light, Vijnana Jyoti Society makes utmost contribution through value-based education to assure societal transformation. The philosophy of Vijnana Jyoti unravels education as a process of presencing that is involved, indulged, and evolved. VJ strongly believes in the synthesis of direct experience, leading-edge thinking, and ancient wisdom, as it taps into deeper levels of learning for discovering new possibilities. Vienna Vijnana Jyoti Institute of Engineering and Technology, established in the year 1995, has been catering to the domain of technical education through value-based orientation. And it is gratifying to share on this occasion that VNRVJIET has completed 26 years of glorious journey with many feathers in the cap, like NAC A++, College with Potential for Excellence by UGC, Gauge Diamond College rating, being Margadarshak for other institutes, and university recognized research centers. With a few words of introduction, I take the privilege of inviting the dignitaries onto the days and resource persons across the globe joining us virtually. I would like to invite Dr. Y. Padmasai Garu, General Chair, SPS and Dean Student Progression, Vienna VJIET, to grace the days. Thank you, ma'am. Now I take the privilege of inviting Dr. C.D. Naidu Garu, Principal Vienna VJIT, to grace the days. Now I request Dr. B. Chennakeswar Rao Garu, Director Vienna VJIT, to grace the days. Thank you, sir. Now I invite Dr. Atul Negi Garu, Interim Chair, IEEE Hyderabad Section, to grace the days. Thank you, sir. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Uday Desai Garu, Founder Director of IIT Hyderabad and Advisor Vienna VJIT, to grace the days. Thank you, sir. Now I invite Sri Jasti Sheshagiri Rao Garu, General Secretary Vijnana Jyoti, to grace the occasion. Thank you, sir. Now, I take the privilege of welcoming Dr. Lalita Garu, General Co-Chair and Chair SPS IEEE Hyderabad Section, to join us virtually.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for the invitation. Yeah.
Lalita ma'am is saying thank you to all the audience present here, as ma'am has joined us virtually. I also welcome Dr. Sheikh Rafi Ahmed Garu, Professor, Department of IEEE IIT Guwahati. Sir is joining us virtually. Sir also is saying hi to all the participants present here. Thank you, sir. I deem it a privilege to welcome Dr. Sumantra Datta Roy Garu, Professor, Department of IEEE IIT Delhi. Sir will be joining us very shortly. Thank you, everyone here. Now I request all the dignitaries to mark the inaugural of the IEEE Signal Processing Society SPS Student Branch Initiative Chapter on latest trends in machine learning for signal processing applications by lighting the lamp. Thank you, everyone. Our former President of India, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, said in his book Wings of Fire that when we pray, we become a part of the cosmos, and prayer facilitates communion between human and the inner self. So may I invite Sindhu our student, to invoke the blessings of the divine.
शक्ति सहित गणपतिं शक्ति सहित गणपतिं शक्ति सहित गणपतिं शङ्करादिसेवितं शक्ति सहित गणपतिं शङ्करादिसेवितं विरक्त सकल मुनिवर सुरराज विनुत गुरुगुहं विरक्त सकल मुनिवर सुरराज विनुत गुरुगुहं भक्तादिपोषकं भवसुतं विनायकं भक्तादिपोषकं भवसुतं विनायकं भक्तिमुक्तिप्रदभूषितं रक्तपदभुजमभयमे भक्तिमुक्तिप्रदभूषितं रक्तपदभुजमभयमे शक्तिधरगणपतिं शङ्करादिसेवितं विरक्तसकलमुनिवरसुरराजविनुतगुरुगुहं शक्तिसहितगणपतिम् शक्तिसहित गणपतिं शक्तिसहित गणपतिं गणपतिं भावयामि।
Thank you, Sindhu. I take the privilege of inviting Dr. Y. Padmasai Garu, Chair, General Chair, SPS and Dean Student Progression, VNRVJIT, to give the welcome address.
Good morning to one and all. Respected dignitaries present here, Professor U.B. Desai Garu, Professor Atul Negi Garu, our beloved Principal Dr. C.D. Naidu Garu, Director Chanageswara Garu, and guests joined through online, Dr. Sheikh Rafi Ahmad, and Dr. Sumanta Dattarai sir, and Lalita Vadlamani, and our General Secretary sir, Engineer J.S. Rao garu. I welcome you all to the 3-day IEEE SPS Student Branch Chapter Initiative on latest trends in machine learning for signal processing applications. I welcome all the participants and my dear colleagues, professors, deans, directors, and participants joining online and speakers joining online to this 3-day program. Actually, this program is, we have started our journey of IEEE at VNRVJIET by the founder Professor of IEEE, Dr. S. Rajaratnam sir, in 1998. That day onwards, IEEE VNRVJIET is very active in participating in various activities across the globe. And we are having presently 4 chapters and Nanotechnology Council, Sensor Council, Women and Affinity Group, in addition to 4 chapters. All these chapter advisors are very active and they will plan meticulously and execute various programs under IEEE student branch chapter. Not only faculty members, all our students are doing very extremely. Whenever we are organizing any event in the institute, they will take initiation to organize the event successfully. Always success is our motto. Whenever we are starting any event, we aim for end in mind. As for DN Rao sir session, always we think the same thing here. And SPS journey started at VNR in 2020. We started our first SPS summer school in December 2020, actually 28th to 31st December. So we are continuously conducting, we are marking those days for IEEE. So 2020 we conducted SPS event, 21 also we conducted SPS event. This year we planned IEEE conference during exactly on the same dates. And we are having fortunate, we got this year also grants from IEEE SPS, third time. Previous 2 times we have organized virtually. So this time we are organizing, actually some of the speakers because of rain they are unable to join us. They are joining online and but all the participants, actually we got tremendous response. Up to now we got 100 participants. So not only from VNR, from various colleges they joined this event. SPS, in IEEE we are having various societies. We are having around 36 societies and chapters and around 9 councils. And under this we are organizing various programs. SPS supports seasonal schools. Already all of you are witnessed, as the technology is changing drastically, it is not possible to learn within 1 day. We have to update our knowledge as per the needs. So because of that, IEEE is encouraging all budding engineers by organizing various events across the globe. Now even the pandemic is troubling all of us. It has given a lot of opportunity to learn more by joining virtually. So previously, even though we are having technology, we are not aware of all these things. We are not at all using them. Now we are using and we are able to connect speakers from globe, entire globe. In our conference, in our event also, we have many speakers from IITs and various organizations are joining virtually by using such platforms. That is about seasonal schools. And coming to forums, so actually even though this is very, very important, networking also very, very important. So not only sitting in the class, it is not possible to interact with others. Whenever any event is organizing, so you should attend that. During that interaction, many industry experts are coming and you can interact with them so that whatever idea you are having, by discussing with them, you can start your own startup. Actually, I will give one of the example of our own EC student. We have organized such program when he is in first year. He attended that program. He is very passionate student. So whatever event we are organizing, he don't miss. And that time the seed started. And now by the time he came to third year, he started his own startup. By the time he came to fourth year, he got 46 lakhs from Bayrak Big Grant. He didn't take up job. He got job also 12 lakhs package, but he didn't take up job. He is running his startup very nicely. His brain is having lot of ideas. During pandemic also he came up with many solutions. Some of the solutions are used in and around Hyderabad. I request all the students whenever you are having opportunity, please visit our alumni startups. That is importance of networking and regional meetings. I already, IEEE encourages, all these things are supported by IEEE. So I am mentioning only SPS, not only SPS, all other societies and councils also supports all these events. So regional meetings, conferences, workshops, all those events are supported by IEEE and paper publications also. So all, if you want to organize conference under IEEE Hyderabad section, actually we are closely working with Region 10. Our college falls under IEEE Hyderabad section under Region 10. Okay, we are organizing conference in December 28th to 30th. Okay, for organizing conference, we have to submit proposal 18 months ahead of time. If it is satisfied, then only IEEE Hyderabad section approves. I request all the faculty members who are working for conference. So recently we are having some bad memories. I request all the faculty, please take care of that in review process. So IEEE is taking care of rigorous review. We are also following the same thing, sir. And 3 reviews we are assigning. Okay, then only if the quality of the paper is good, then only it will go to explore. Otherwise, it won't go to explore. So I request all the HODs. Actually, here we are organizing a conference, computing and circuits branch together. We are organizing this conference at VNRVJIET, sir. And also our management also supporting 14 lakhs to organize this event in the college. And the chapter initiative, that is also one of the thing in SPS. That is one event we are organizing from SPS. We got $5,000 from Global IEEE. All of you are seeing. We are organizing this event 3 days. We are having almost 11 talks from various eminent speakers. From morning to program starts at 9, ends at 5:15. And for encouraging students, we also plan networking session that is followed by crescendo and live performance today and tomorrow from 5 to 6. And we also planned one panel discussion, challenges and open discussion for machine learning in signal processing. I can proudly say that as an electronics engineer, whenever I can say, even though now everyone is talking about AI, machine learning and deep learning, I don't accept. We are learning all those things that is inside our branch itself. You start from second year SS. There itself we are learning machine learning. That time means were error. That time we didn't coin. Already we are having neural networks in our curriculum. Already we study AI also, data structures. Some of the algorithms, even though you don't know, those algorithms are only used in your, whatever now at present you are studying in data structures, those algorithms are used in your AI. Okay, now, only last 1 minute. Okay, now when I taught VLSI signal processing, whatever algorithms you studied in your data structures, some of the algorithms are used there for optimizing space when you are designing chip. Okay, whatever subject you are studying at first 2 years, I say first 2 years are very critical throughout your life. Learning is very important. Knowledge is exploding, so you need to commit yourself to a plan for lifelong learning. So the capacity to learn is a gift. The ability to learn is a skill. The willingness to learn is a choice. Okay, I request all of you, everyday learning is very, very important. Keep learning. Thank you one and all for patience with me.
Thank you, ma'am, for your welcome address. I request Dr. C.D. Naidu Garu, Principal VNRVJIET, to address the gathering.
Good morning, all of you. Respected Engineer Shashi Rao and two stalwarts of guests here, UB Desai Garu and Atul Nei Garu, and online experts that have joined here today for this inaugural function, and my colleagues Padmasai and Channakeshwar Garu. We welcome you all for this inaugural event on latest trends in machine learning for signal processing. So it's a great opportunity for all the faculty members, particularly in circuit branches, EEE and EIE and EC branches to learn better how we can teach signal processing through machine learning can also be thought of in future, because we were teaching signal processing many years. As Padmasai was telling, even signal sun systems and signal processing and waves processing, all that we were teaching since long. But why can't we add machine learning component into it and implement those things that we have, algorithms that we are studying in machine learning, using machine learning algorithms, so that the efficiency and efficacy can be improved for implementation. So through implementation, if you could able to devise our curriculum, probably it helps the students as well as for the faculty for their research. So on this occasion, I congratulate Dr. Padmasai's efforts to bring in IEEE into IEEE conference into the UNRVJIET in December. So all of us make use of that opportunity and submit our papers and let it go through a rigorous scrutiny and publish papers through that conference, which helps our institution in the individually by the faculty and the students. Thank you, madam, for putting a lot of all of efforts to make IEEE more enlightened in our campus, and great learning should come for the students and faculty. Thank you one and all who joined online and also offline for this event. A great success for the next 2 days, 3 days event, a great learning. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Now I request Dr. B. Chennakeswara Garu, Director, VNRVJIT, to address the gathering.
Good morning to all of you. Namaskar. Swagatam, Suswagatam to 3-day workshop. Respected dignitaries on the dais, off the dais, and virtually, and delegates from various institutions, my dear students, ladies and gentlemen. At the outset, I would like to once again extend warm welcome to all of you for this 3-day workshop, summer school, not workshop, summer school, on latest trends in machine learning for signal processing applications. So in this connection, I would like to congratulate the Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering and VNRVJIET IEEE student branch and SPS and WIE, all the chapters, I think, whoever associated with this summer school, which is being conducted today and tomorrow, day to tomorrow at VNRVJIET. Today, I think everybody is talking about AI, machine learning, and cyber security, IoT, data sciences, and RPA, then quantum computing. So these are the buzzy words everybody is talking today. Unless you acquire the knowledge in those domains, it's very, very difficult to implement all these technologies in the present day applications. So in this connection, we have decided to organize number of workshops, symposiums, conferences, and the summer schools, winter schools in these particular domain areas. So in this connection, I would like to thank IEEE chapter, I think, sir, on behalf of VNRVJIET, I would like to thank IEEE chapter chair, interim chair, Atul Garu, who has come forward to use this opportunity to conduct this 3-day program at VNRV. Please all of you give a big hand to IEEE state chapter. So today, I think each one of you are all eagerly waiting to learn new technologies. Here we are coining as emerging technologies or resonant technologies. So especially, I think every day we are talking only these words in the campus. So that way, I think each of our students, whoever is going to pursuing their education at VNRVJIET, they are all aware about all these terms which we are using daily in VNRVJIET. Sir, as for VNRVJIET is concerned, we are giving top priority for AI machine learning, deep learning, and as well as the IoT, cyber security, because these are all, I think, very, very important topics today's, I think, world. And in this connection, I think each one of you please try to discuss whatever the queries that you have in your mind with the experts, because we have already invited 11 speakers who are going to deliver their lectures at VNRVJIET through both virtually as well as physically. Today, I think everybody is asking about how the IoT is going to be useful to the society, how the AI machine learning data, deep learning is going to be useful to the society. Today, if you take any application like agriculture sector or a biomedical applications or a health science, and even the blockchain, also even the businesses also, everybody is using all these new technologies only. So with that, I think by 2027, the business is going to be increased by 33% by using all these AI machine learning techniques. So that way, I think the business is going to be increases by using all these technologies. And nowadays, I think everybody is talking about the natural language process. I think there also the AI is going to be used. And then cyber security also, I think each one of you, you're all aware about that, how difficult to handle the data without the corruption. So that way, I think cyber security is very, very important technology which is going to be used. So please try to do some research in these three areas like machine learning, deep learning, then cyber security and IoT. Anyway, the data science is very, very important. And next one is the quantum computing or quantum AI also. So these are all the new technologies that are coming up actually. Each one of you, you can spend some time in these technologies and explore whatever the challenges that we are going to face it and how to solve the problems. So that way, I think definitely you can do wonders. I once again thank all the delegates. I think without your support or cooperation, it's not possible to conduct any event successfully at VNRVJIET. I once again wish you all the best for these 3 days. I hope you are going to learn many things during these 3 days, and finally, at the end, definitely you are going to learn Delta Theta. So with that, I think you are going to enrich your knowledge in these domains. I wish you all good luck. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your words of inspiration. Now I invite Sri Jasti Sheshagiri Rao Garu, General Secretary, Vignana Jyoti, to address the gathering.
Good morning, all of you. I welcome all the dignitaries on the dais and off the online, and all the delegates and staff members from other institutions. I think in December we met on the same stage when the WIE was, some award function was there, if I remember, correct? So it's nice to see the same organization again taking up another activity. I would, befitting my role as the General Secretary, I will first tell something about Vigyan Jyoti at the risk of reputation for some, but for some who were attending this institution from external colleges or institutions, Vigyan Jyoti is a society, non-profit society, not-for-profit society, under which Vigyan Jyoti is the flagship, VNRVJIET is the flagship institute. I think we have completed 30 years of existence. With the VNRVJIET is 25. VNRVJIET society per se is already 30 years old, but VNRVJIET is 27 years old. We have the other institutions also under the same flag, like Arts and Science, Agricultural Institution, Management College, and school also. Very soon we will be adding up some more institutions under this flagship of Jnana Jyoti. And this is a little bit about this campus and the Jnana Jyoti. And as far as this subject is concerned, I don't know whether I am competent enough, but I have been running an electronic hardware industry for the last 25 years, where I make flexible PCBs, which is one of the very rare kinds, which was way, almost like 15, 20 years ahead of time for India, which I started. So I had to run into a lot of financial problems. But today we are doing well. I would request I make flexible PCBs for communication also, for the antennas, and very specialized. All of them are customized, and I have very selected customers, both in medical, communication, electronics, defense, various sectors. So when they are talking about machine learning and all, if I remember way back in 95 itself, when there was no communication also, I was having the communication network of video conferencing with my collaborator way then, but the circuits were very bad, but PSNL used to provide me the uh, platform for that. So with my collaborators or with my customers, I used to communicate on video way back in 95, 96 itself. So you can understand how far ahead I started and then got stuck because the Indian market was not all this video conferencing and other things came much later. But we are and that's where we landed up. But today we are doing well. We are sustained because of the persistence. Now my unit is the destination for all flexible requirement for any of these specialized applications. So I request any of the members who would like to visit and understand what the flexible PCB is, because everybody would know only rigid PCBs. So it's an invitation, open invitation to any of you. Please join and have a interaction with my people, please. That is for it. And I wish this conference or workshop for 3 days all the best. And I would not take much of time because this is a 3-day session, and this is only we are in the beginning of inaugural session, so we have a lot to do. And take advantage of all the latest technologies and the mezzanine technologies and all this, and the application of machine learning in your signal processing and other things. So I leave it at that because I don't want to take much of your time. Wishing you all the best. Take care and stay safe. Wishing you all the best. Good luck. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now I take the privilege of introducing Dr. Atul Negigaru, Interim Chair, IEEE Hyderabad Section GU all. Dr. Atul Negigaru completed his degree in Electronics and Communications Engineering from Osmania University, Hyderabad, Masters from IISc Bangalore, and PhD from University of Hyderabad. He was the co-founder, member, and a moderator of the Linux User Group, Hyderabad, and a life member of the Indian Unit of International Association for Patent Recognition. He is with the School of Computer Information Sciences, University of Hyderabad. He has been an investigator with funded projects from the Ministry of Home Affairs, Ministry of Communications and Information Technology, and Indian Space Research Organization. He has successfully guided 8 PhD scholars and mentored several others. He has more than 100 peer-reviewed contributions in journals and conferences. He received the Inspiring Teacher 2010 Award from Teachers Academy, Hyderabad, and was invited to deliver the K.K. Nair Memorial Lecture, IETE, in 2012. He has been an invited speaker at various corporates and at various conferences and workshops. With his few words of introduction, I invite Dr. Atul Negigaru to address the gathering.
Very good morning to all of you in this auditorium. On the dais, I'm really honored to share the dais with the very top management of this institute. That is Sri J.S. Rao. He has just given a very surprising technological insight. So I'm really happy to know that. Actually, it recalls me the days of when Jay Chaudhary was there in the STP in Hyderabad. So he was really quite. He was also a chairman of the IEEE Hyderabad section, if in case somebody remembers that. He did quite a dynamic innings as the chairman in IEEE Hyderabad section. Later on, okay, to come back, I got diverted. To come back to the program. program today. So I thank the management, that is Dr. Chennakeshwar Rao and Dr. Padmasai for inviting me here. And of course, I'm very happy to renew my ties with Professor Naidu, the principal, and last but not least, Professor Desai. We keep meeting at such occasions like this, and really always I benefit a lot from his concepts and ideas. So, and let me share one slightly embarrassing episode which was with me. So, there was a international speaker who has come from Taiwan and other such kind of things. Professor Desai was also there. Two fellows of IEEE were also there in the audience. I'm sorry, in amongst the speakers, but I did not have an audience. I had just 7 students in the 500-seater University of Hyderabad auditorium. Okay, so the what I understand from this is that the most difficult thing is not just for a program to arrange the speakers, but to have the mind share and mind space from students like you. Okay, so it's really fantastic to see that so many students are there and they are encouraged and they are enthusiastically supporting this program. I'm sure they'll be doing well among these things. I don't want to speak much, but if you know that some of the landmark things which took place in the machine learning and neural networks domain, say like in 1948, there was a paper in which they studied the propagation of the neural signals. Okay, so from that paper onwards, the modeling of the neural spiking, etc., took place, and landmark events is the Minsky-Papert perceptron algorithm. This is of 1960s. Deep learning. Some of you might think it's something new, but that is also not new. In 1984, Fukushima proposed the neocognitron, which was based again upon the human neural structure in the eye. Okay, so like this, there are tremendous developments. Somehow they get rediscovered later on, and so and their importance becomes improved a lot once it gets into the commercial domain. And of course now machine learning and signal processing are benefiting from the more than 50 years of developments which took place here. Okay, I hope the students will pay attention that it's not just something which is going to help them to get a job, but if you want to go far, please learn the mathematics which is there into it. In fact, uh, those students who are very much savvy and aware, you would know that there is an entire subject which is called as mathematics for machine learning. And if you would like to know any links on that, mathematics for machine learning, there's a textbook, and IIT Hyderabad also, the professors from mathematics also run some courses on that. Okay, so that's just some kind of indication and interest for those students who are deeply inclined. Okay? And regarding IEEE Hyderabad section, thanks to very energetic volunteers like Professor Padmasai here, we are doing very good events, and it is reaching out to a good sizable body. And we are going international also with events like this. Professor KVS Hari and other such people in the Signal Processing Society are really bringing across great events in not only in Hyderabad but across the region as well, because he is the promoter for the regional activities in signal processing. That is Region 10, like that. So, well, I hope this will be a fantastic event. I can see from the program which is being given here that it's really a very good set of speakers and all that have been organized here. And I hope it will be a great program, and my best wishes for the success of this program. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for enlightening us the importance of participation in updating us with mezzanine technologies like machine learning, deep learning, and mathematics related to these fields. Thank you once again, sir, for your valuable time and inputs. Now I take the privilege of introducing Uday Desai Garu to you all. Sir does not want us to introduce him, sir, but will take few minutes, sir. Dr. Uday Desai Garu received his BTech degree from Indian Institute of Technology, Kanpur, MS from the State University of New York, Buffalo, and PhD degree from the Johns Hopkins University, Baltimore, USA. He was the founding director of IIT Hyderabad. At present, he is the Professor Emeritus at IIT Hyderabad and also Strategic Consultant for Telecom Standards Development Society of India. He is an honorary professor at Usong University, South Korea. His research interests are in wireless communication, wireless sensor networks, cyber physical systems, Internet of Things, and artificial intelligence. He is also a co-author of 9 monographs. Dr. Desai Garu has graduated 25 PhD students and over 100 master students with thesis option. He is the author and co-author of nearly 300 peer-reviewed papers in international journals and international conferences. Dr. Desai Garu received the Outstanding Alumni Award from University of Buffalo, State University of Newark in 2015. In 2016, he received the Distinguished Alumni Award from IIT Kanpur. He is on the board of Tata Communications Limited. He is a member of many central government committees and several governing councils of leading academic institutes. He chairs several committees under MeitY, DRDO, and private organizations. So we are honored to have you here on this occasion. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Uday Desai Garu to address the gathering.
Good morning, everyone, and let me join my colleagues in welcoming you to this particular, I don't know what's called, summer school or conference or workshop, whichever way it is, but I think it's very important. I think dignitaries are there on the dais. I will not repeat all their names we normally do. We have dignitaries online also. My colleague Dr. Sumantro is also there. So I'm very happy to see that he has found time to talk to you and talk about signal processing and artificial intelligence. First, right at the outset, let me congratulate Dr. Padma Sai and her team for organizing this conference. I think it takes a lot of time, a lot of effort. You know, getting funding is not ever an easy task, and she has managed to do all these things, and her team must have worked very hard. So, really a big congratulations to her. A big congratulations to Vigyan Jyoti, the principal, the director, general secretary, and others for encouraging such events on campus. I think it's very, very important to have such events on a regular basis. This is what keeps the campus thriving, and this is what keeps the student body also engaged. Classroom engagement is one aspect, but the other day when we were having another discussion, we found that the general thing is that 70% of your education comes from outside the classroom. 30%, maybe if you're generous, 40% comes from within the classroom. I'm a professor and I'm saying it, so don't feel bad about that. And other professors shouldn't feel bad about that. But this is a fact. You ask any graduate anywhere in the world, and this is nothing to do with Vigyan Jyoti or IIT or Stanford or MIT. It's a general truth across the globe. So I think such events are very, very crucial. And of course, I'm very happy that IEEE has come forward and sponsored this. I've been associated with IEEE for a very long time. I was the general chair for IEEE Bombay section 2 decades ago. And IEEE has been the fulcrum by which a lot of electrical engineers in all aspects, signal processing, communication, microelectronics, VLSI, power electronics, power systems, large number of areas, we come together and we interact. We have still not sort of bifurcated and gone our own way in many other disciplines. I think it's very important that such events are held. Of course, this is a very topical event, artificial intelligence and signal processing. AI has been around for a long time, as was mentioned earlier by Padma said. In fact, if you go back in the 50s, somewhere, I don't have the exact date, somebody coined the name artificial intelligence and it has been stuck around. In fact, early days, if you look at the history, there was a lot of talk, the time of Norbert Wiener, von Neumann and others. big stalwarts in the early days. Again, mathematicians, as was pointed out by Dr. Negi. They used to talk about a thinking machines. That was a big thing. Everybody was building a thinking machine. So I think it went through that, then it came into artificial intelligence. It didn't make much headway, but people knew that someday it's going to make a big impact. So it went through what many times in we refer to as GoFi, good old-fashioned AI, which is essentially expert systems. That was a word used, I think, somewhere in the 70s. Essentially, a rule-based system. If this is true, you do this. If not, you do that. And you create a complex set of rules. And they were used quite successfully in many hospitals, many medical kind of applications, and many business applications. Expert systems were very popular. Many companies came up with a lot of money on it, but they had their limitations. Then, of course, you hit the 90s, and artificial intelligence got another kind of shot in the arm by this whole area called artificial neural networks. As you said, what Dr. Padma Sai mentioned, you have courses on the artificial neural networks. Everybody has them. I won't get into ANN. All of you have gone through it. And that perceptron, made a big impact. We still today have that same perceptron with some twisting, turning, modification. It goes on. So the core perceptron, which was defined then, actually perceptron was defined long back. In the 90s, what they came up with is a multi-layered kind of a structure and this famous algorithm called backpropagation. Even today, it is being used quite extensively. It went through, and I remember some of the, I would say, I don't know, very flamboyant people who come and say, all problems are now solved. Anything is there, you use ANN, and your job is done. Essentially, saying that all of us were redundant. But of course, ANN didn't deliver its promise. It went up to a point and then stagnated. So the math was still important, basic signal processing was still important, whatever other things that we did was still important. So ANN didn't quite solve. We were not able to come up with an ANN chip, which was a big thing. Everybody thought we'll have an ANN chip and that will take care of all our problems. It didn't happen. And then somewhere in the early 2000, Lee Kuhn and many others came up with this whole notion of convolutional neural networks, deep learning, etc. And we got another shot in the arm. I mean, ANN things were going down, and again, kind of it picked up. And it has now gathered momentum. In my opinion, the fundamental math contributions are there, perhaps not that fantastic, very good. But what has changed is the technology. Machines that we worked on when we implemented ANN were like, they were 33 megahertz Pentium machine. Today, nobody uses the word megahertz, by the way, unless you're talking about spectrum option. It is like all of you talk of gigabytes and gigahertz. 33 megahertz, then we had something like, megabyte now, maybe 200 megabytes or 400, 512 megabytes of memory, etc. On those machines, we used to run simple artificial neural networks, which would go on. Essentially, the program had to run for 2 days in a row, 3 days in a row. And given that there are power outages, all of a sudden, even a second, or a fraction of a second is good enough to disrupt your program and you start all over again. So we would get battery packs, this, that, etc., and hopefully got some results to show that yes, something can be done. Today, that problem has been completely solved. In my opinion, the great success of AI is because of the computing power that is at your disposal. And the GPU-based processors. NVIDIA has come up with GPU-based systems. I think they changed the nomenclature now. Earlier they were called DGX1, DGX2, etc. So the general graphical processing unit, as opposed to a central processing unit, the CPU system that we have, suddenly became very, very powerful when it came to AI applications. And AI has become very strong. Again, a pinch of salt is required out here. What is AI today effectively? We have fantastic machines, so I can do terrific things on that machine. Fundamentally, we are still doing pattern recognition. If you really strip AI down, we are doing pattern recognition in images, pattern recognition in video clips, but of course we call it video analytics, etc., etc. Vocabulary is quite complex. But if you tear down everything and look at the code, we do pattern recognition in financial data. That is AI application in financial data. We do pattern recognition in text, again, AI application for text processing. Pattern recognition for AI application in speech, AI application for speech processing. So I think we need to now, time has come to move to the next level as to how do we go beyond this. And of course, there are lots. I think maybe both Professor Sumantro as well as Professor Rafiq. Rafiq, I hope I got the name right. I didn't make a mistake. Yeah, sorry, Rafiq Sheikh. I kind of combined the two. My apologies. Okay. So I think they will talk more about that particular part. So suddenly there is a big challenge now coming up because it's been almost, I would say, roughly 15 years or so that this so-called current AI or deep learning has been going around. And by and large in AI, every 15, 20 years, we get a new shot in the arm, so something excellent happens. And I think we are at the cusp. Something interesting is going to happen in the next 3 to 5 years, which will again boost AI, both from a technological standpoint and application. Lastly, I would say that AI is not the purview of IEEE, okay, or for ACM, okay, that it is only confined to that. Today, AI has cuts across all disciplines. In fact, in many of my talk, I keep saying that AI has now reached a stage, it is like differential calculus. You cannot think of an engineer without differential calculus, right? You have to learn basics of it. Why engineer? Even a physicist or a chemistry person, in any domain, some bit of differential calculus is required. AI has pretty much reached that level. So I'm hoping that future conferences will involve not simply electrical engineers and computer scientists, but people from civil engineering, mechanical, chemical, all walks of life. It is having applications even in other domains. There are people in social anthropology who look at the impact of AI on society. So in fact, I'm part of a group called Global Partnership in AI, 23 countries, and we're not looking at research in AI, but what impact AI is going to have on the labor force, for example, the future of work, etc. So I think this is a very exciting time for you, very exciting domain, and I'm happy that this is done. Once again, I thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity to share a few of my thoughts, and also congratulations to Dr. Padma Sai, Gyan Jyoti, IEEE, you had a Triple IT Hyderabad. There are many of them who have come together to create this event. And wish you all the best for the next 3 days. Have wonderful celebration.
Thank you, sir, for your experience, for sharing your expertise with us, and also citing the importance of AI applications, pattern recognition, and the future of interdisciplinary approach. Now we have the delegates joining us online.
Hello. No, I can't hear anything from your side. If I,
Ma'am,
if I,
we can hear you online.
no, I know. I think, but their voice is not coming to me. Whoever are there in the auditorium. So, in case I have to just go ahead, I can. But
Ma'am, we can hear you, ma'am. You can go ahead.
hello.
Ma'am, you're audible to us.
Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, welcome all to this, summer school on latest advances and trends in machine learning and signal processing. I thank Padma Sai. I'm really, happy to have her as a volunteer in the SPS chapter of the IEEE Hyderabad section. I think she has been very proactive with various proposals, and signal processing society is one society which puts these call for proposals very regularly, almost half yearly, and she has been over and over getting these sanctioned, and being able to successfully organize these workshops, summer schools, and so on. So the last one that she organized was in December, and I think I did participate in a panel discussion over there. And thanks to VNR Vignan Jyoti for providing all the support for being able to conduct these events. And yeah, I think whatever else I wanted to say, I think Professor Atul Negi and Professor Uday Desai, they have already covered. Okay, regarding the program itself, I have just 1 or 2 points to add. Is that I see that Dr. Padma Sai, whenever she organizes, I mean, like in a team organizes these events, they make sure that there is enough hands-on components to it, and which is very important. And I see a lot of students in the audience too, so I would request you to take maximum advantage of these events. By one thing is by being interactive. Okay, so I mean, if it is one way, of course you get some level of understanding, but then if some of these sessions are interactive, then it is much more. So I request particularly the students in the audience to interact with the resource persons and the speakers as much as possible and get maximum advantage. I know that 2 of my colleagues from IEEE are giving talks on biometrics and biomedical applications as well. And yeah, so and yeah, so as Professor Negi pointed out, machine learning and signal processing, so this combination is in general quite math heavy also. So in case you're not getting that flavor of it, please do make sure that you go back and explore that, because those are the foundations which are required to at this stage, so that you become better AI experts, let's say, right? With that, I'll keep it very, very brief, and because we are already delayed and there are more speakers awaiting. Congratulations to the team for organizing this event, and I wish all the participants the best, all the best for the next 3 days. Thank you.
Good morning, Professor Padmasai. I see a lot of a constellation of stars both on the here at physically present in the meeting as well as virtually. I wonder if I can start right now. I'll try to keep it short and sweet. Yeah, I hope you can see both my screen and I hope I'm audible as well. Can you? Okay. If I'm audible, that should be perfectly fine. All right, thank you very much for the opportunity. And in fact, I'll try to keep it short and sweet. And it's actually a real privilege to go after such wonderful people as Desai sir. I started my career being his office neighbor. Dr. Atul Negi is also a familiar face. Dr. Lalita Vadlamani, we all know about. Well, in terms of machine learning in image processing applications, I'll do a quick pick of three topics. And the first one of which is pretty exciting in the context of today's scenario. And I guess most of us would know about what I'm talking about. That is on deep fakes. So I'll start with a video and I'll start talking along with that. So this, in fact, as the video comes in, is a deep fake
7 years
video, and in fact, it's got audio as well. And you'd see this has been taken from a picture of Abraham Lincoln, and well, there is audio which is very nicely synchronized, and this actually is a is an advertisement for a website called myheritage.com, wherein a structure in deep learning, which quite a lot of us are familiar with. This is a generative adversarial networks. And in fact, the interesting part is that previously to learn a distribution would have meant getting one of the samples which was used for the learning process. Now with this, one is able to generate. This is there are two deep networks involved. One is a discriminator, the other is a generator. The generator starts getting better and better with the learning process as time goes by. Its role is to generate new samples according to the distribution. It's got a traditional encoder decoder like structure, whereas the role of the discriminator is a 0-1 case to say whether the output is a real output or a fake output. So there's a cat and mouse zero sum game between the two, and as learning gets better, so the generator starts generating more realistic samples, and the discriminator gets better and better, trying to discriminate between these samples, what is real and what is fake. Now myheritage.com for free gives an Android app, for instance, to generate videos like this Lincoln video, where incidentally he's got his laptop right in front of him, and he's actually advertising this in 20 seconds. In 20 seconds flat, it is possible to generate a deep fake video. So a lot of research in computer vision and image analysis nowadays is also going into trying to beat this sort of deep fake technology. Like GANs have things called artifacts. So they're typically GAN artifacts there. The other approach is on using the physics of the image formation process in what is called the PRNU, the photo response non-uniformity function, in generating patches, in looking at patches and then feeding them to some off-the-shelf classifiers, which help in characterizing whether, because two samples of the same camera model do not have the same CMOS characteristics in the sensor. The noise patterns are completely different. So this is one of the very recent developments, and you would have also seen the infamous Tom Cruise deepfake video, which is actually very realistic. So just to keep it short and sweet, I'll go over to some of the other developments in machine learning and image analysis, which use some some things from traditional image processing and image analysis, and some from machine learning. One of the earliest in the millennia was a feature which is there in almost every, even an entry level mobile phone right now, which is essentially the Viola-Jones face detector. So this work by Viola and Jones had three important characteristics. The first was a very nice representation, which is an integral image representation. The representation at a pixel is a sum or an integral. And the interesting part is that that helps in getting away with quite a lot of the computational complexity that would otherwise be associated with this. Then the other part is the use of HAR-like features. So there are simpler feature detectors. So a HAR feature detector would detect things like the forehead of a person vis-a-vis the portion which involves the eyes and the nose. So a HAR filter is simply look at a region and subtract it from a region of the same size, which is above, below, or to the sides. So this sort of, so the basic idea, then if one looks at the structure of the face, the bridge of the nose vis-a-vis the two eyes. So the simpler filters are used on a larger number of pixels, which helps filter out the space of searching for things which look like human faces. So the idea is that a large amount of pruning is done with computationally light filters, and after that, the very few pixels that get left behind, more complex feature detectors are used for that. So that is something very interesting, and plus also a practical application of a very nice ensemble of machine learning classifiers called AdaBoost or adaptive boosting, which also gives a very powerful result, which says that if each individual classifier in this ensemble of classifiers is very bad, but then not as bad as pure chance, if any of these, if these classifiers are just better than pure chance, that is toss of a coin, then the entire ensemble would give a much better classification result than all of this. And in general, one talks about the success stories of machine learning in signal processing. One of the success stories is a comparatively older 1970s story, which essentially is the hidden Markov model, right? And most of the automatic voice recognition, the IVR, the interactive voice recognition systems, are actually based on hidden Markov models. So, and so much so that, let's say, if I go to the US, and if I just switch to a Bostonian accent in an unscheduled manner, then the IVR systems there would sort of understand what I'm talking about. But the moment I switch back to my Delhiite in English accent, they'll not work that well. So anyway, IVR systems are essentially very good examples of the application of hidden Markov models to uh, essentially signal processing based systems. Now, the last thing that I'm going to talk about is the is something that is pretty famous as an online application of k-means and an approximation to the EM algorithm, which is for background subtraction, which is called the Stauffer and Grimson background subtraction algorithm. So as I talk, let me see if I can play the video also alongside. So the input in this case is any video and the output. So it is the job of the system to learn the background. So this, the representation is with a mixture of Gaussians. So the representation uses a mixture of Gaussians to model the background. Let me see if I can get this up on the screen. I'm still not as comfortable with online presentation systems as one might want to. So what I'll do is I'll shift over to a media player. I don't want to show my screen because entropy is quite high. It's as cluttered as my computer desktop is as cluttered as my physical desktop is. So in this video, this has been taken with a surveillance camera. One of the things that you can see is there are quite a few moving objects. There was a bit of breeze in this video, and the leaves of the tree, and hence the shadow of the leaves of the tree are moving slightly. And as the video replays, you'll see the other moving objects. There was a black SUV which had backed out from this portion. It had backed off, stopped momentarily, and then you would have noticed that there were specular reflections. Then this black SUV, right, it's come here, it goes into the shadow region. So that's pretty tough for a computer vision and image analysis system to analyze. And plus, among the other moving objects, there are these two loafers who are roaming about the parking lot without a thing to do, without a job in the world. One of whom some of you may recognize, the one in the blue shirt and the dark gray trousers. Yeah, that's me. I had a slightly better state of health at that point in time. Now, the role of this mechanism, of this particular algorithm, is to learn the boundary. So let me see if I'm able to open that, and I'll talk about some of this technology. Maybe I'll try this one. So in this case, when the video comes up, you'll see that whatever is marked in white is automatically the background, and sorry, is the foreground, and whatever is in color is actually the background. So gradually with time, the algorithm adapts itself. So, and depending on a set of parameters, so for instance, when the movement stops of a particular object, the part gets into a mixture of Gaussians. So there is an internal sorting of, let's say, B Gaussians, the B most important Gaussians out of the K Gaussians in the model. This is typically taken between 3 and 5, just so that the computational complexity is not too much. The idea is that the moment some new information comes in at a pixel, so what is done is that gets built up. If that stays consistently for a certain period of time. So this is the complementary piece of information in the video. So all the foreground objects are in color and the background is in white. So you can see that this adapts itself rather nicely. So the idea is that if there is an object which is stationary for a couple of frames at a particular pixel, that gets the information about that, either the color or the gray level, one creates a new Gaussian at that point with that as the mean. It's taken, in fact, it's taken as a fat and flat Gaussian with a low a priori probability and a high variance. And then gradually, the moment it becomes one of the B most important Gaussians in the model out of the K, then it becomes a part of the background. So that is the flexibility in this case. Okay, so enough said about this. I guess I'd better stop now in the interest of time. So if there are any very quick questions, I'll be glad to take them. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for enlightening us on deepfakes and its importance in AI. Thank you, sir, for sparing your valuable time.
Anything, any comment or any question?
Any questions from the students? I think they have to learn more about deepfakes, and maybe then they will get a lot of doubts. Sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Well, I can't hear anything from the audience or the organizers. Well then, thank you very much for the opportunity. I'm sorry, I'm also in a bit of a time crunch, and I believe Rafi sir is also waiting so that we finish this particular session by 11:30. So I've just tried to restrict myself to about 14 minutes or so. Thank you very much, and all the best, and have a very nice session. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir. Let me take the privilege of introducing Sheikh Rafi Ahmad Garu to you all. Sheikh Rafi Ahmad Garu received his BTech and MTech degrees in Electronics and Communications Engineering from Sri Venkateswara University, Tirupati, and PhD degree from IIT Kharagpur, India in 2008. He is currently a professor with the Department of Electronics and Electrical Engineering, IIT Guwahati, India. His research interests include digital, adaptive, biomedical, and VLSI signal processing. He has many publications in reputed journals to his credit. 7 scholars completed their PhD and 12 students are pursuing their PhD under his tutelage. Thank you, sir, for joining us virtually. Now I request Sheikh Rafi Ahmad Garu to address the gathering.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your invitation. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I take this opportunity to thank Professor Padma Sai for inviting me to deliver a lecture on the topic. So I'll share my presentation.
Sir, there is a network issue at your side, sir. Rafi, sir.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir. So you're audible, sir.
Is the slides are visible?
Yes, sir. Your presentation is also visible, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much for your invitation. So I'm going to present a small brief talk on latest trends in machine learning for signal processing applications. So see my brief contents of this presentation. So I'll just give the first just background of machine learning, then deep neural networks, and I'll explain some examples such as sense understanding. There are some hardware solutions, conclusions, and references. So coming for the machine learning is a subset of artificial intelligence. Later I'm going to show the relation between the artificial intelligence, machine learning, and deep learning. So as we know that artificial intelligence is not a new subject. So this artificial intelligence has born in 1956. Artificial intelligence is basically the intelligence demonstrated by machine, unlike the natural intelligence displayed by the humans and animals. But in 1956, even though this AI has born in 1956 around, but that time it has not gained much importance because of lack of the data. Actually, nowadays because of this internet and all, we have big data. That time there is a lack of data, so that is why this AI has failed. And another reason is because of lack of digital hardware. And the third reason is because of unavailability of the efficient algorithms. So because of that, this AI has failed in 1956. After that, around in 1980s, again AI has, revived in terms of a system called expert system. So you might have heard about the expert system in 1980s. There was a lot of demand for the expert systems. So expert system basically simulates the knowledge of analytical skills of a human expert. Still, because of unavailability of this data and the hardware, again this expert system also failed in 1980s. After that, later in 1980s, because of the development of the CMOS technology. Basically, whenever if any area want to develop, then you have to fabricate IC correspond to that particular algorithm. Okay, so because of the development of CMOS technology in 1980s, so it was possible to fabricate a neural network IC, which is called as neural network accelerator. So because of that, so in 1980s again this AI has revived its future, and in the 1990s and early 21st century, AI has gained popularity and it has been used in many applications, starting from logistics,
There's a network issue with us, and we request you to wait with a bit of patience. Rafi sir has a network issue. So owing to bad network, we will have sir sessions after the break, after the inaugural ceremony. So moving on to the next set, I request Dr. C.D. Naidu Garu, Dr. Chandra Kesavra Garu to felicitate Dr. Atul Nagi Garu. We request the dignitaries to grace the dais. After Principal Dr. C.D. Naidu Garu, felicitating Atul Nagi Garu. Chandra Kesavra sir, presenting him a memento on behalf of VNRVJIET. Thank you very much, sir. Now I request Dr. P. Kishore, Program Chair SPS, to propose the vote of thanks.
Good morning, one and all. On behalf of IEEE student branch of VNRVJIET, IIIT Hyderabad, IEEE Hyderabad section SPS chapter and WIG, I take this opportunity to propose the vote of thanks. First of all, I would like to thank IEEE Signal Processing Society for giving us the opportunity to host this event. I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to our esteemed guest, Dr. U.B. Desai sir, former director, IIT Hyderabad and advisor PNR IET for spending his valuable time and inspiring us today. On behalf of the organizing committee, I convey my deep regards and heartfelt thanks to our guest, Honorable Interim Chair, IEEE Hyderabad section, Dr. Atul Negi sir, for his constant support to organize this event. Thank you, sir. Also, I would like to thank our guests and keynote speakers, Dr. Sheikh Rafi Ahmed, Professor IIT Guwahati, and Dr. Sumundra Datta Roy, Professor IIT Delhi, for enlightening us today. I thank Dr. Lalita Vadlamani, Chair SPS Chapter Hyderabad section, for her continuous support for organizing this event. I thank J.S. Rao sir, General Secretary, Vijnana Jyoti, for his presence and encouragement to all of us. I extend my heartfelt thanks to the management, Principal Sir, Dr. C.D. Naidu Garu, Director Sir, Dr. B. Chandra Kesavra sir, for their timely help in smooth conduction of this event.